Okay, hey everyone. My name is Ming. I'm a master's student in computer science.
Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm a ESE student at University of Toronto. I'm one of the programmer in this project, and our special Neil is a physician doctor. Hi everyone. We are a group of Lightbulb. Our app aims to help with preventive health by allowing users to assess and monitor their type 2 diabetes risk or status through in-app screening functionality, risk assessment questionnaires, as well as physician metric tracking and graphing. So patients can also learn more about managing diabetes through helpful tips they can find through the app and enable push notification to remind them of important days in their preventive health schedule. We also have a separate physician interface that allows physicians to connect with and consult patients remotely, both through a chat and by allowing physicians to monitor and track data such as screening results and graph for their physical data. So next, we're going to use the video to introduce our use case of our app. So Lightbulb shining a light on your health. Almost 10% of Canadians live with type 2 diabetes, which is a major risk factor for many serious health conditions such as strokes, heart attack, kidney failure, and blindness. Ryan heard that one of his friends was recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and he wonders what his risk of diabetes is. So he reached the internet, but he can't fully understand the information he reads. He doesn't have time to book an appointment with his family doctor until the next month. So instead, he downloads the Lightbulb app to learn more about the risk to diabetes and what he can do to lower the risk. He also used to learn when he should be screened for this condition and confirm his understanding. He sent his family doctor a secure message through the app before booking an office appointment. And next, we're gonna demonstrate our app.
Yes, as Ryan, I've logged into the app and can see my profile page. The patient profile would be the one on the right, which is my basic information. I first used the BMI calculator to find out my BMI, enter my height and weight, and receive a score. I can see that my BMI indicates I'm obese, which is a reason for concern that I would like to talk to my doctor with. I then use the risk calculator available in this app to get a more comprehensive overview of my health status. The risk calculator is based on the Canadian Diabetes Risk Questionnaire. It asks me various questions to calculate and interpret a diabetes risk score for myself, as well as provide me with helpful preventive health tips based on those results. I can see from these results that my risk is moderate, so I decide to message my physician. Hey Zoe, I did my risk assessment and it says I'm at risk for diabetes.
So as a physician, in my interface, I could talk through the chat box with Ryan, and I would say something like, "That's unfortunate to hear, Ryan. Let's schedule another appointment."
Moving on, I can then continue to schedule the appointment with my physician through the chat. Next, to demonstrate a different kind of user who might use our app, we have Chris, a user who actually has prediabetes, as you'll be able to see on their profile page. As Chris, my use case is different from Ryan in that I might be more interested in some of the long-term tracking functionality offered by the app in order to help manage my condition. For example, after a meal, I enter my food diary and log what I just ate. On this page, I can see a list of foods that I previously ate and logged, as well as filter those entries by date. I also decide to update information on my physical metrics charts that I had recently measured. So this is for both myself and my physician to track on the app. This includes values such as hemoglobin and blood glucose levels. Afterwards, I am curious about when to have my next scheduled appointment, so I enter the screening section of the app. I enter the last time I had a screening and it returns a range of dates that I should have my next test during. I make sure to click the set notification button so that my phone will remind me once it is time. After going through this routine, I enter the chat with my physician and let her know of my updates. As you can see, it already messaged her when I should have my next test.
So here I will be able to talk to Chris, and here I see a notification for Chris screening schedule.
Hey Zoe, I updated my recent information.
Yeah. So as a physician on my side, I was able to look at Chris' recent charts for different tests. And I'll also be able to see the food diary history here. And in this case, I would reply to Chris something like, so, hey Chris, so your data looks good. I see that you found out when you have next point, which is great. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. And that is the end of our demonstration. Next, Neil will talk about the software structure of our app.
So very quickly looking at the software structure of our app. On the left, the patient front end, on the right, the physician front end. There's two different types of user interface depending on the type of user, patient or physician. They're similar, except the patient side includes more information regarding the educational and informational pieces that are specifically relevant to them. The information for both sides, including the mutual features, which are the chat features and the sharing of historical data graphed over time, would be stored in the database. And on the back end, the key functionality to highlight would be the responsiveness to answers that the patient user inputs for screening questionnaire and risk calculators entries to give them feedback and advice based on everything they enter, and also a final piece of actionable advice that they can take to their physicians. If we were to continue working on this app, we would want to expand on the current implementation of physical activity and food tracking from the current manual entry functionality to it being more automated, to make it more streamlined for users and make it more likely that they would take advantage of these features. And then additionally, we would want to replicate the functionality to other medical conditions other than just diabetes. Initially, our vision for Lightbulb was to shine a light on all of preventive health, but throughout the course, we decided to narrow it just to diabetes so that we would be able to complete a finished product by the end of the course. But if we were to continue working on this, we would replicate the functionality for other conditions that are relevant to primary care, preventive health, specifically hypertension and cancer. And finally, what we've learned through working on this app, first of all, we learned the importance of identifying the target audience earlier, as early as possible, I should say. Initially, we were targeting the general public, but partway through, we realized that it would be more relevant to target physicians specifically, since the patient-physician back and forth is very important for an app like this. So if we had identified this at the beginning, we would have optimized the physician interface to make the app more attractive to physicians, and then after getting physicians on board, it would be easier to get their patients on board and to get buy-in and users to get onto the app. As mentioned, we narrowed the app from all of preventive health to diabetes partway through the course, and if we'd done this earlier, it might have made it possible to identify key deliverables specifically to a diabetes type of app. So the finished product would have been a little bit more specific to diabetes and more usable for that reason. And the last 2 points mention the advantages and disadvantages of how we did our programming. We decided to focus mostly on functionality and build on functionality, and then focus on user interface and design and aesthetics at the end. While this made it a little bit easier to adapt to feedback that we received and to change the direction of the app, if we had focused on user interface and design elements throughout throughout the programming of the functionality, we think that the end result would have been more streamlined and looked like a more complete finished product.
And that is the end of our presentation. Thanks for watching.